This is going to sound a bit weird, okay? A little bit weird. I've been coaching people from a soul-centered perspective now for 35 years. And one of the keys to being successful at this is tuning into the client and being available to intuitive guidance, if you like, for lack of a better term. But the key to having intuitive thoughts come up when working with a client is to always check it out with the client. Because what matters is not what I think or what comes up for me, but what's true for the client. So in a sense, what I found myself doing was using Shakespeare's text as if I was working with a client. It wasn't intentional, but that's how it turned out. So for example, when I was looking at Macbeth, something just jumped out at me in Macbeth. And it was just like a 10-second scene, which a lot of directors leave out because it just doesn't seem to be relevant. But my thing with Shakespeare is that the only mistake you can make is to not treat every single tiny little thing as if it's very, very significant, and you put it in there for a reason. And that's a scene where Macbeth encounters Banquo, and Banquo gives Macbeth a diamond. And the diamond is not for Macbeth, but it's for Lady Macbeth. And it's not from Banquo, but it's from Duncan. So it's passing through a line from Duncan to Banquo to Macbeth to Lady Macbeth. And then it seems to be lost. And I said to myself, what could this be? It's a very powerful symbol. What could it symbolize? And the answer that came up for me was the Holy Grail. I thought, oh, yeah, right. But then when I started to explore it and see and just use that as a question, how is this an indication or a sign of the Holy Grail within Macbeth? Everything became clear. That particular scene turns out to be a symbolization of the scene at the Last Supper, when Jesus says to his disciples that one of you is about to betray me. And they say, which one? And he says, the one to whom I give this sop, which is a piece of bread dipped in wine. So he takes the cup that had became the Grail in the mythology. He gets the bread, which is his body, symbolized his body, into the wine, which symbolizes his blood, and he gives it to Judas, the one who is about to betray him. And he says to Judas something like, what you must do it quickly. And in the Bible it says that Satan entered him at that point. So if you look at Macbeth, Banquo, father to a line of kings, gives a diamond to Macbeth, the man who is about to betray the king himself. And then Macbeth says in the following scene, that must be done quickly. Almost complete paraphrase of that seminal scene in the Last Supper. And with that as a starting point, I found at least 15 to 20 iconic moments that signify that story of Macbeth is the story of how Adam and Eve lost the Holy Grail in the very beginning, and how the line of kings through the Bible, including Jesus, ultimately vanquished Satan and got the Grail back for mankind, for all mankind.